What's up guys, welcome back to a new video. Today I'm going to be talking about a camera that I've had a lot of fun shooting with recently, and that is the Fuji X100V. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I got the Fuji X100V about 4 months ago, and the reason I got it was because I was looking for a digital camera that was small, that was portable, built well, and just something that would inspire creativity again. Before buying the Fuji, my only digital camera was the Canon R5, and if you know that camera, it's pretty big, it's pretty clunky with a lens on it, and I wouldn't say it's the most inspiring camera to pull out and just shoot for fun. One of the main reasons I got this camera was because I was going on a trip to Hawaii, and I wanted to document the trip a lot and just take a lot of photos, and I wanted to do that without the worry or the stress of using a ton of film or just the whole process of shooting film. I kind of just wanted that freedom of shooting a digital camera, having basically unlimited shots, and being able to edit and see the photos while on the trip if possible. The lens on this camera is a 23mm f2, which in a crop sensor equates to a 35mm lens, and I think that's a great focal length for kind of everyday stuff. It's wide enough to get landscapes to an extent and tight enough to shoot environmental portraits and just get a little bit of everything. So I think for having a single lens on a camera, which this camera is a fixed lens, you can't remove it, I think 35mm focal length is perfect for it. With the size, focal length, and build quality, I thought that this would be a perfect companion for a trip, and I think that it was a great choice. I really enjoyed shooting it, and here's some photos from it. So in using this camera on that trip, I had a really great time, and I got photos that I really enjoyed and was really happy with. There were some features on the camera that were really helpful and enjoyable to use. One of those features is the viewfinder setup. It's got 3 options for the viewfinder. There's an optical viewfinder, which is just looking straight through the viewfinder and coming out of this window. The second option is a digital viewfinder. You just flick a little button right here and a screen will pop up and show you the real-time exposure of the image, and we'll have the film simulation on it, and you can kind of see exactly what your photo is going to look like. And then you can do a hybrid viewfinder, which shows the optical viewfinder with a little corner of the digital in the corner. It's super nice to have that. I think it's just crazy that they have all these options packed into such a small camera. I use the optical one a lot. It kind of reminded me more of shooting my film camera, which is nice, and I really enjoyed it. Something else I really liked about shooting with this camera was that it had a face tracking autofocus, which made shooting photos of people and everyone that I took photos of on this trip really easy. And it just made shooting really quick, and you could just hand the camera off to anyone and they could shoot a photo and you can guarantee that your face was in focus, which is really nice. Overall, my intent with shooting this camera was to treat it kind of like a point and shoot camera. A lot of the time I just shot it on the auto shutter speed and shot it between f2 and f4 at the most. So I ended up shooting my photos in RAW. I did have a Portra 400 recipe set up as a preview pretty much, so when I look at the photos playback and showing photos to friends, you could see roughly what the photo might look like in the end. But I ended up editing the photos myself in Lightroom. I tried my best to make things pretty natural, and I wasn't using any Fuji profiles for that. I think that they're a great option, and it's really nice that you don't have to edit in the end, but I think they, for me, are not exactly a end product. Editing these photos was a breeze. I had a really great time, and I was really surprised and impressed with the Fuji colors that come out of these files. I've heard a lot of things about Fuji colors and how great they are, but I always was a little reluctant. I've been shooting with Canon for a long time, and I'm pretty used to their colors and how great they are. But I have to say that the Fuji colors are, in my opinion, better than the Canon colors right now. Coming out of the R5 versus this camera, I enjoyed editing these photos a lot more than editing photos from my Canon R5. In my opinion, they just look more natural. I do think that the Fuji colors are a lot easier to get to the point that I like than my Canon camera. I want to go more into the philosophy of why I got the camera and why I enjoy it so much, and I think it just all boils down to fun. It's such an easy camera to use and such a carefree camera. It doesn't invade spaces, it doesn't look scary, and taking photos of people, they're not really stressed out when they see this little camera. It looks like a film camera a lot, and I think people just aren't really stressed out when they see this camera pointed at them, and overall it's just a fun camera to use. There's not a ton of cameras that I'd recommend to basically everyone, but I would say that this is a great camera for everyone. If you're just shooting for fun and want one camera, I think this is a great camera for that. If you're professional and you want something that's a little bit more fun than your usual digital cameras, then this is a great option as well. And if you just want something that is inspiring and easy to use, I think this is a great camera. You can grow into it, you can shoot with it for a long time. I can't really see too much changing with the next generation. I don't think there's going to be a full frame option, so if there's not a full frame option, I don't really see myself upgrading to a new version of this camera. So hope that helps you guys and brings you guys some insight on this camera, and I appreciate you guys watching it. Let me know if you have any questions on the camera or any comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next video.